I'm going to ask about the Keystone pipeline, so start the clock.
I withdraw mine.
As gas prices continue to soar, Madam Secretary, burdening the American people in this time of economic hardship, we must continue to examine avenues to depend less on foreign oil from rogue regimes. In October of 2010, you mentioned that you were, quote, inclined, end quote, to sign off on the Keystone project because the U.S. will either be, quote, dependent on dirty oil from the Gulf or dirty oil from Canada, end quote. What was it about the pipeline that led you to change your previous assertion? And can you please explain why an additional stable source of oil from a democratic ally such as Canada does not deserve a national interest determination from the Department of State?
And what I said in 2010 was that energy security considerations exist and needed to be taken into account, but that it had to be part of what is the legal and regulatory requirements for evaluating any pipeline application that crosses an international boundary. The State Department was in the process of making such a determination, and when it became necessary to make a decision, we did not recommend that the President say no, but rather that the presidential permit for the project at that time be denied. And with respect to the national interest, what we were working on was a resolution of the very strong concerns expressed by one of the states through which the pipeline would move, a state that at that time did not have its own process and needed to pass legislation, figure out what the alternative route would be, and then, of course, it fell upon the State Department to evaluate the alternative route. That had not yet been established when we were required to make our decision. Therefore, it was impossible to assess the impact of that new route that had been requested. Now, just in the last 2 days, TransCanada has made a move through a letter indicating their intent to submit a new application which crosses the U.S.-Canada border. At the same time, they're moving forward with parts of the pipeline, like from Oklahoma to Texas, that don't cross the border and don't need State Department evaluation or decision. So I think we've handled this, Madam Chairman, in a way that was commensurate with the law and the regulations. I strongly believe we have to increase our energy security. I strongly support the creation of our new Energy Bureau. Just last week, we signed an important agreement with Mexico to encourage transboundary exploration in the Gulf of Mexico, something that was legally in limbo. So we are committed to doing all that we can to help Americans get the energy supplies we need.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And now to Syria from Canada.
Yes, now on to Syria. Well, you know, we are concerned. I think that it is an issue that deserves the attention of the international community. Nunn-Lugar, of course, was in a permissive environment. It was after the Soviet Union had fallen, the new Russian Federation came into being. They welcomed our work with them, as did Kazakhstan and Ukraine and other countries. At this time, there is no permissive environment, but we are going to stay very focused on the potential dangers posed by any storehouse or depot of such weapons.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary.